Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the June 17, 2019 full moon in Sagittarius. Now, on June 17, 2019, we will have a full moon in Sagittarius. Now, a full moon in astrology can represent the culmination or completion of something, the end of something. It could be a time where one may simply become tired, exasperated, full, so to speak, at something, or it could even be someone in their lives. Now, also, this could be very strong, unrestrained, unleashed, uninhibited outpouring of emotions at this time. Now, given that it's going to be in Sagittarius, it could be very free emotions, not necessarily worried about the repercussions as a result of unleashing these emotions, and really it could be something where people may say something that they had suppressed and they bottled up for some time, and it might be to a point where they become somebody, given it's in Sagittarius, they might actually really demoralize or demean someone in the process. It could be, now, full moons in astrology can often be about revelations, unveilings, and disclosures. This could be very strong, powerful, emotional energy. It could be very loud and boisterous in this case, given it's Sagittarius. But also, when you look at full moons, they are about endings, but I do believe they could also, at least indirectly, be connected with new beginnings. Now, I think of this because, the end of something in someone's life or a chapter closes. This could signify often someone will start something new as a result of this. Now, when you're talking about a full moon, this full moon can impact everyone collectively, but especially those that have a Sagittarius or Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. Now, a Sagittarius, obviously, because it's going to be in their sign, and Cancer, of course, because, well, Cancer simply can be strongly impacted and affected by all transits of the moon. It does govern their sign, and a lot of this may be attributed to why they could be so fickle, temperamental, and changeable, and they go through so many mood changes. Now, looking at this as well, and especially if this, for Sagittarius, if this is making a conjunction, especially to one Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, this energy could be very intensified and very strongly impacted and affected by this full moon. Now, I think too, when you look at a full moon in astrology, there could also be a greater propensity for accidents on a full moon. Now, given that it's going to be in Sagittarius, it could be connected with reckless, foolhardy driving, and also it could be a time too where many may find out the truth about a person that may have been gossiping, given that with the beginning, when you had the new moon in Gemini, that could have been a new period of gossiping, maybe even slandering somebody. And then when you have the full moon in Sagittarius, it reaches a culmination where that veritable truth might actually be coming out and becoming exposed. So if somebody had been gossiping about you in recent time and you were suspicious somebody was bad-mouthing you, it could have been a two-faced person, that was somebody that you thought was your friend or what have you. This could be a time where that truth could very likely come out. And also, too, another way that this full moon in Sagittarius may manifest, it could be a time where maybe what started out as a writing could end up being published for many people at this time. This could be a very prominent time, perhaps for authors to get something done and get their work published, I do believe. Now, also, too, it could also be about this, when you had the new moon in Gemini, that could have been the start of being more inquisitive, and then in finding out that veritable truth regarding a matter. And that could be, which of course that's the full moon, could be the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, also, it's important to look at, of course, the house this falls in one's natal chart, as this could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, mine is going to fall in the 8th house. Now, this could manifest, of course, in a real multitude of ways. It could, one way this may manifest, this could be a revelation about, or that strong truth about an inheritance, perhaps, if there was some inheritance took place and I was maybe supposed to get something at some point, but I didn't get it. I might find out the truth regarding this. Also, could be the ending perhaps of a philosophy, perhaps, for example, being overly pessimistic, that may have been tied into me not making a major change or transformation, given that it's going to be in the 8th house. And it could also be maybe at this time, this could be maybe a self-revelation for me, a time about maybe being simply more positive, more expansive, more optimistic, could really help me perhaps making that major change or transformation, or just simply being able to get more support from others, whether it's emotional, monetary, or moral. So anyway, and I think, too, looking at this is actually going to be pretty close to the galactic center as far as the degree goes. This is going to be at 25 degrees Sagittarius. This could be something, too, like in my example, this is going to be something where this falls in one's natal chart, the house this falls in a person's chart. This could show the area where there might be a self-revelation, where someone might become very strongly cognizant of where they can make a very monumental contribution to others. And this could be, for me, that it's going to fall in the 8th house of astrology. Well, you could do the math. This could be a time where I might really find out myself, what way can I make that major contribution, perhaps to astrology? The 8th house is connected with the occult, which could include astrology. So I think in that could be a way that may manifest and pan out for me. Also, too, this could be a time, too, where another way looking at the aspects this makes to points in one's chart can be significant as well, because that could flavor the interpretation. Now, mine is going to make an inconjunct aspect to my natal Taurus ascendant. So at this time, when you're looking at inconjuncts in astrology, they could be about adjustments. This could be, the full moons can be about revelations. Being in Sagittarius, this could be about perhaps expanding horizons and making that major 8th house, again, major change and transformation. Taurus ascendant, of course, can be notorious to having an aversion to making a major change or transformation. So naturally, an adjustment may have to be made. I might have to if I'm going to expand my horizons, it could be a very arduous task, given that it's inconjunct the ascendant, and just the simple my Taurus ascendant, given the fact that Taurus energy, of course, could be very stagnant and unwavering and unmoving. I do believe that Taurus could unequivocally actually be the most fixed sign in the zodiac, given that not only is it fixed, it's an earth sign, and it's very firmly planted, so in the ground, so to speak. So anyway, well, another thing, too, is that this could be a time to, it could also, in a negative way, manifestation, this could be about a minor surgery that might take place, that I might be discovering that maybe something surgical might need to be done, something Sag-related, such as something with the liver, the sciatic nerve, or the thigh. But I don't really think that's going to happen. But if you're somebody that's having this transit, it's hitting your 8th house, people, just be careful. If you've had some propensity or some issue, for problems with your something Sagittarius related, like what I mentioned before, then I'd be very careful at this time. And anyway, well, another thing I want to talk about as far as this full moon in Sagittarius transit goes, that at this time, it's also important to look at the electional aspects this makes, as this could impact that interpretation. Now, it's going to make what may be considered a long conjunction to Jupiter when this transit hits. Now, this could be very fortuitous, again, for ending something Sagittarius related. Could even give some really increased luck and fortune in connection with this. But remember, as I've expressed in previous videos, Jupiter can also be very paradoxical. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have the tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this may enlarge or expand. Full moon in Sagittarius energy being very emotionally charged, it could really increase these strong, exuberant, enthusiastic, expansive, very jocular feelings and emotions at this time. Now it's going to fall at 25 degrees Sagittarius. Now as far as Sabian symbols go, this could be the end for many of something that required a lot of proficiency with the hands and being very punctilious with details. It could be doing something such as carpentry or surgery, or doing some work connected with being like a medical technologist or welding. Now the conjunction to Jupiter may give added prosperity and luck associated with something Sagittarius related that you may decide to end. Now hold on a moment, people. Now also I'm thinking that I'm wondering too about this, if there might be something connected with that Trump wall might be revealed and unveiled. Maybe there's a certain section that's going to be completed at this time that's going to be disclosed. But I don't think obviously the whole project is complete. I don't think it's anywhere near that, but you'd have to look online and check that, of course, because I'm not 100% sure on that. But the thing is too, it could be something to another way I think this could be manifested, is that this could be a revelation to many. Maybe those of you who are following pro basketball know that the Golden State Warriors are playing the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals. Could this be a time where there's the revelation actually hits, where people become very cognizant that a sports dynasty known as the Golden State Warriors might be reaching a completion or culmination? And even if the Warriors do happen to win this series, the team is likely going to be dismantled to some degree. And another thing I think that this could manifest to sports related is that those of you that follow pro basketball know that Kevin Durant, the superstar player on the Golden State Warriors, had recently succumbed to some injury. I think he may have exacerbated something. He had something with some Achilles issue. And what I'm wondering too, see, that's interesting because this is going, I don't know his natal chart because I don't know Kevin Durant's time of birth, but in the solar sunrise chart, this is going to fall in the third house of mobility on June 17, 2019. It's also going to make a very tight conjunction to his natal Saturn in Sagittarius, and Saturn can be about limitations and restrictions, and it could be something that might be revealed, that might be something, of course, sports related. That comes out, that's the truth, that it's something that might be limiting the mobility issue, mobility with him, and it could be some sports injury, sports limitation that comes out that has to do, that could be connected, maybe impact his mobility a little bit, or at least maybe on the basketball court. So I think this is going to be something where if we don't find out before the 17th, we might find out at the 17th or someone near that time what's actually going on and the real strong status of Kevin Durant's injury, which might be something that might be more limiting and might impact his career more so than a lot of people might really believe. So anyway, also too, what I found what's interesting at this time is that on June 17, 2019, it's going to be the final day where one can submit comments that are written on proposed tariffs, which is 25% on certain Chinese products, including sporting goods. Now, tariffs, of course, they are import-export taxes. Now, anything associated with importing, exporting, of course, is Sagittarius. And also, too, when you look at sporting goods, sports can be connected with Sagittarius as well. So there you go. It's also important to look at other transit aspects on this day, as they could be intensified because it's taking place at the time of the full moon. Transit Mars in Cancer is going to make an opposition to Pluto and Capricorn. Now at this time, this might manifest in perhaps in a very perpetual tug of war for many between energy with the home and family, and also introverted energy, introverted matters, and also matters that might oppose matters that will empower one's career. It could be also maybe anger. Mars and Cancer energy could be anger connected with brooding, lamenting, festering for a long period, and this could be opposing very ruthless, powerful, dominant authority figures. So, and you have to remember that what's important to remember about this too, people, is that Cancerian energy, and even whether it's energy and anger, is not always logical. It could result at this anger being directed at people that are bigger in stature than others, than the person releasing this anger at this time. So if you're at a time and you want to release some anger, and it's over some domineering or what you feel is this tyrannical, ruthless, bossy, authoritative figure, be very careful at this time that you don't take on bite off more than you can chew at this time, people. So also, and given this is going to fall again, this will be very intensified because it will fall at the time of the full moon in Sagittarius. And this could be, again, when you're talking about full moon in Sagittarius, this could be about it could be a very strong emotional need for independence and freedom. And many people will be wanting, I think, to free themselves from, perhaps they might be freeing themselves from these authoritative figures in order to maybe take care of some things, maybe on the home front, given that you're going to have the Mars in Cancer opposition to the Pluto into Pluto in Capricorn at this time. So anyway, and people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my take on the June 17, 2019 full moon in Sagittarius. And stay tuned next time, where I'm going to be talking about giving you my take on the on the Gemini July 2019 July 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.